Hold on. She stopped purring. She's like, she's looking at me. Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a writing coach and I help writers all over the world find their writing voice and finish their novels. And today I want to talk to you about the opening line. I know from personal experience and from working with writers all over the world that the opening line can be a really daunting thing when you're writing your novel, especially if you're a first time writer or if you've never done it successfully before. In today's video, I want to tell you all about the tips that I use to make sure that my opening line hooks the reader, makes them want to keep reading, and also makes you want to keep writing because let's be honest, sometimes something as daunting as the opening line can cause huge writer's block and it can set you back so far in the writing process. So I hope you noticed by my opening statement that the most important thing to realize when you are writing your opening line is that it needs to ask a question that your readers are going to continue to read the work, or in this case, watch the video to find the answer to. And unfortunately, I don't know why I said that. I don't have a story behind it, but I do know it got your attention. And in a well-crafted novel, that will be a question that I answer pretty much within, I don't know, the first chapter or later on in the story. So if you've ever had a problem with the first line, or if you just want some tips and pointers to make sure that yours makes sense and compels your reader to keep reading, this video is for you. And make sure you stick around to the end because there's going to be something awesome for you on the other side. Okay, so let's get into the opening line. I want to talk to you a little bit about the conventions of writing the opening line and how you can master them and leverage them for your specific novel. The most important thing to understand is that the opening line isn't necessarily to start the story, it's to hook the reader. So in marketing, we say you hook the person to make sure that they're interested in you before they buy from you. This is the same thing in writing. You want to hook them so they're interested in the work and they keep reading. When you hook your reader, then they care about the next thing that you say. So when you introduce your characters, or you introduce the story or the backstory or the mystery or whatever genre it is you're writing, then they care about it. Because let's be honest, readers aren't necessarily going to care about something just because it's written. You have to make them care, and you do that through a hook. So how do we hook our readers? I've got a couple pointers for you that I teach my students and that I think you'll find really, really helpful. So make sure you stick around for the whole video so you can catch all of them. So the first tactic you can try is to start with action. So in starting an action, you can start in the middle of a fight scene, you can start in the middle of an argument, start in the middle of a mystery, in the middle of a party, anything that is an action that's like, whoa, 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 where am I as a reader? I'm going to keep reading even if I don't want to because I don't know where I am. And it's a natural human reaction to not knowing something to try and orientate ourselves within the work. So dropping readers into the middle of an event is going to grab their attention, and if you do it well, it's going to make them care. The next thing I want you to do is pose a compelling question. So you can spark curiosity or intrigue with a question, or even with a statement that's not a question, but the readers might have a question about. Like I said earlier, you want them to ask you a question, and then they read the rest of the book to find the answer. Also, this is something you can do within all of the work. So as you start each chapter and as you start each big transition in the work, having a hook like this that causes them to ask a question is going to make sure they don't DNF. And if you're not part of this bookish community, DNF stands for did not finish. You also could introduce a shocking statement like I did at the beginning of this video. On my 7th birthday, I was a liar. That's shocking because most people don't expect 7-year-olds to be liars or to be capable of deviousness to an actual like human extent beyond their just normal little kid antics. Having something that's, really shocking or confusing and then later contextualizing it will show the reader, one, that you can deliver on a promise you make because that shocking statement is a promise you've made them. I will explain this. And two, that there is depth to this story that maybe they haven't figured out yet on the first page. And like I keep saying, they will keep reading because they want to know what the answer is. This creates a sense of mystery, which you want to make sure you do with the opening line, even just a little bit. So even if you're not writing a mystery story, if you're writing a comedy, a romance, a fantasy, or whatever genre that you like to write in, creating a sense of mystery in the first line is going to make sure that, your reader keeps reading. The next tip is to introduce a unique or unusual perspective. So for example, maybe a corpse. What would a corpse say? Maybe we're hearing the story from the perspective of a cat. My cat Jackie was here at the beginning. Maybe that she's telling the story. Maybe she'll do a video someday telling you about opening lines. That would definitely be unique. And because it isn't done a whole lot, then your reader's going to want to know, why is this being done here? The only thing I want you to make sure you avoid in the beginning processes of your opening titles is to make sure you avoid the info dump. Here is something that I want you to remember, and this is a question I pose my students every single time we talk about the opening line. Answer the question, why do I care as a reader? Why should your reader care? And that first opening line is going to make a promise to them that tells them why. You should care because I'm going to deliver on this line. I'm going to deliver on this question, on this promise, on this expectation that you have from reading the first line of my work. A lot of writers seem to forget this, but people don't inherently care about your work just because you wrote it. I know that can kind of feel like a slap in the face, but it's true. You have to make them care by making them a promise, and then when you deliver, they like you, they read your book, and they want to read your work in the future. Creating an opening line that hooks your reader in this way, using these tips, is a great way to do that. Hey, if you're a fiction writer hoping to write your book in 2025, you are in the right place. I hope you hit that subscribe button and hang out with me here because I post tips and tricks every single week to make sure you write your book with a flair. If you're looking for more content on an in-depth level, make sure you come hang out with me on Patreon. I post all kinds of exclusive how-to content, including videos, free downloads, and blog posts every single week to make sure that your writing questions are answered. Also, I want to make sure you snag the Complete Novelist Kit, which is a kit that I've made after having conversations with hundreds of writers all over the world about the common roadblocks they face, and these are the tools I give them to overcome them. In the last 90 days alone, I had one student use these tips to write her book from start to finish, and she's now in the editing stage, and I'm so proud of her, and I want that for you too. So don't hesitate on this. Make sure you grab the Complete Novelist Kit. This is the resource that's going to help you write your book in 2025. Lastly, in the comments, I want to make sure if you have a writing question, I want to answer it. Let me know in the comments below and I will answer your questions. All right, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it helps you write your book. I'll see you next time.